so, we're just going to be in silence, in the presence, and hold space as the music plays. So you can just close your eyes, relax, invoke the presence, and just rest.
Ganapataye Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari 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 Namo
Namaste.
Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. We call this the Flowering Heart Satsang. We direct a meditation spiritual center in Clearwater, Florida, which is called Flowering Heart Center. And we started holding over the phone satsangs 15 years ago, and it turned into a live stream satsang, and here we are. It's an opportunity for those of us who are on the path of awakening and the flowering of the heart to connect with others who are on the same path of awakening. People all over the world. People join us from other continents and other countries, and that's a wonderful use of the internet. There's so many other uses, but this is one that helps us to reach out and connect with people far away in places where we might not be able to have access to one another easily. And we share space, share energy, share consciousness. Satsang means community of truth. Sounds high and lofty. It's really a spiritual community. Wherever two or more people who are on the spiritual path of awakening and transformation come together, that's a satsang. A very important thing. So we're really glad you're joining us here tonight. Many people join these webcasts later on tonight, tomorrow, during the week in between one Monday and the next because of their schedules and time zones and other factors in their lives. So we hold everyone, we hold intentions for everyone, those that are with us live and those who tune in later. It's still live because in spirit there is no time or distance. There's no separation in terms of time and space. So you could listen to this broadcast a year from after it was done, and it would still have the same life and energy flowing through it that you'd feel. So it's so important right now that those of us on this planet who are awakening, who are holding the vision for the new earth, that we stay focused and stay connected with one another. And we've watched what's happened over the last several years, so many different challenges, but it's important to have a spiritual community you connect with. And that can be virtual, it can be somebody halfway around the world, but also it's good to have one at hand, close at home, where you can come together in the same physical space as with others and meditate together, pray together, share your journeys together and your challenges, and share insights and breakthroughs. If you don't have one, start one. We share throughout these webcasts what we call the Flowering Heart Blessing. It's got some fancy Sanskrit name, but we don't speak Sanskrit, most of us. But Hridaya, Vikasa, Diksha. Okay, that's it in Sanskrit. And all it means is Flowering Heart Blessing. Something that the Divine shared with Suzanne and me about 7 years ago, and said this blessing is to do a number of things, but it's to awaken people, especially centering in the heart. Because when we go deep enough within, we come to a place inside of us that is the entire divine source. In fact, the entire universe is inside of us because the outer world is just a reflection of the inner world. So everything we may have been looking for out there, running around the world to different workshops and seminars and different temples and spiritual teachers, and I'm sure I've received much help over the last half century of doing this stuff, from being in the presence of awakened beings. And thing is, we tend to get stuck on that stuff out there and sometimes miss that what those enlightened or awakened teachers are showing to us is a mirror. They're just holding up the light we see and experience coming through them is a reflection of our own true divine self. So the heart of the journey is to go deep into the heart and find the light within, find the divine source within. It is already completely God realized and divine. It is the divine. It is the very essence of enlightenment. You see, your true divine self is awakening itself. Buddhists call it Bodhi. It has many names, but the God within is your true essence. And it is enlightenment itself. And it is completely divinely realized. And so if you just go inside, there's something called direct awakening that doesn't require jumping through a lot of hoops and paying a lot of money and going through a lot of external processes, though that may be helpful along the way. But you can go directly within and discover awakening directly and instantly because it's already there in you. It's who you are. So the flowering heart blessing, this gift from the divine, it catalyzes the flowering of that inner light. It creates that inner connection with our own divinity to be quickened, to come alive, to be empowered, and it begins to expand and radiate outward from the center of our being, which in India they call Atma, the supreme being within. It begins to shine out from the center of our being through all the layers of our spirit, our soul, our body, our relationships, our connections to the world. And the divine said, give this one to people. This one comes directly from me. It does not come through or belong to any organization or hierarchy or master or saint or avatar. It's mine. And the divine speaking, and I give it to whomever I please. And it's a gift of grace, just like awakening. Awakening isn't something we attain through our own efforts. It may be a reward, a gift that the divine graces us with because we're so sincere and have been working so hard. There's nothing wrong with working hard toward the goal, what you're desiring. But in the final analysis, awakening is a gift given freely through unconditional love from the divine. So the divine said, give it away. Don't charge for it. Oh, and this we loved almost as much as all the rest. Tell people that when they receive this blessing, they are instantly initiated to be able to serve as a vessel of grace for the flowering heart blessing to flow through them to others. So I said all of that because I was suggesting if you don't have a spiritual community, start one. It's so easy. You can go to our website, floweringheart.org, or a number of other places on the internet that have this video, but we created a 36-minute introduction to the flowering heart blessing that includes an initiation meditation. And while that isn't necessary, it helps a lot of people to make that connection. The video is very anointed. It's just got life and energy flowing through it. And you're welcome to take it, download it, do anything you want with it. You could just have one other friend over, open your laptop and hit play. And in 36 minutes, whoever's there with you is ready to start sharing blessings. The flowering heart blessing can be shared at a distance, and we're doing that right now. You're soaking in it. It can be done in meditation or prayer at a distance. It can be done as we're going to be doing a form of it at the end. We call the light meditation through the eyes. Just through presence, but it's also, and one of the really nice ways to share it is through touch. And that's with the informed consent. If someone asks to receive this blessing from you, you need to let them know it's going to begin to change their life. The divine is not messing around. Humanity needs to awaken collectively. It's wonderful that each of us is on the path, and it's getting easier and easier the more of us that are awakening and the more deeply we're awakening, and that's rippling out through the collective consciousness. So it's much easier to begin to awaken now than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago when I started out on my journey. Maybe it was even a little longer than 50, but then you'll figure out how old I am. But it's getting easier and easier the more and more of us that awaken. This earth must shift. The human civilization on this planet must shift from competition, conflict, and war fast to cooperation, harmony, and peace. And that's not possible through religion. Someone might not agree there, but religion is beliefs. What will change is true spirituality, which is transformation of consciousness and the flowering of the heart. That's what needs to happen. Humanity needs to awaken. Philosophy can't do it. Politics can't do it. Religious dogma can't do it. But grace can do it. And it's happening. I know when we look at the world around us these days, it's so stressed out and so conflicted that unless you stay focused, you might lose sight of the dynamic and awesome transformation that's taking place on this planet. You are living proof of it. And so let's share it far and wide. Before I forget, whenever you drop in on this video, even if you're watching it days later, give us a like or a love, because then we do come back and look at some of the names. Well, all of you who give us a thumbs up or a heart or even the occasional angry face or crying face, but and we send you extra hugs and blessings, and it's good to know who dropped in. So you can either do that by giving us a thumbs up or a heart if you're on Facebook Live. If you're on Vimeo or even here on Facebook, you can just, like Tilene did, just say something in the comment, in the chat. And we just love it. This coming Sunday is our monthly interfaith communion with the Cosmic Christ. We do it once a month. It's interfaith. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a Christian. A lot of people have a relationship these days with the Cosmic Christ, with the God within. Call it the Paramatma, call it the God within, call it the I Am. That is the Christ consciousness at the center of the heart path. And a lot of people have a strong connection with that. They may be Sufis, Mahayana Buddhists, or anything, but not so much with the dogmatic religion called Christianity. So that's why we say interfaith. Whatever your faith is, you're welcome to join us in communion with the Cosmic Christ, focusing on that aspect that is eternal, that aspect of the Christ within that is without beginning and without end. So you may be trying to figure out what you think about Jesus of Nazareth, who Christians and others, many others, see as a human embodiment of that cosmic Christ. But we want to open the door for people to experience that amazing presence of unconditional love. So we do that once a month by popular demand. And this Sunday we're going to be focusing on meditation, a certain kind of meditation in the living Word. And it's a very powerful form of meditation that's deeply life-changing, and love to have you join us. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on Facebook Live or on Vimeo. But the good news is, it too is recorded and archived, and if you've got something else you're doing Sunday morning, you can come back Sunday evening and play it, and it'll be just like you were here with us. If you really want to participate in the communion aspect, have a piece of bread. I mean, flatbread's the best thing to use, or unleavened, but any kind of bread and a cup of juice, or the fruit of the vine in whatever form is acceptable to you. And we hold a special intention that wherever you are, that bread and that juice will be consecrated, and you'll experience the same amazing grace that flows through communion. But really, that grace is there from the moment we invoke the presence at the beginning of the communion service. And for some members of our Flowering Heart community, that's the meeting they enjoy absolutely the most of everything we do. We have weekly satsangs here at the center. We do special processes. And of course our webcasts on Monday night, where we connect with many of you. But those communion celebrations, they're special. So okay, I'm done. But please join us if you can. What else do we have to announce?
Questions?
We open it for questions and answers, anything that pertains to spirituality or the spiritual journey. The best questions tend to be ones that are coming from your own spiritual experience and spiritual practice. Having some spiritual practice is an important aspect of our journey, and there are all kinds of ups and downs if you try to meditate or you try to pray or you're working on awakening. And while each of us has a very unique path, somehow they parallel each other. And we tend to go through the same ups and downs and challenges and hit the same walls and plateaus. We all seem to go through the same stuff over the years. So when you ask a question about something like that, it resonates with all of us. And then the divine gives us some clarity or inspiration to share, and it helps us all, inspired by your question. But it could be philosophical. You could ask about the nature of awakening or God realization or reincarnation or anything like that. We'll take any question that has to do with spirituality. Other side, we don't do economics, we don't do politics. And after we get through that, we're holding the intent right now for the Flowering Heart Blessing to flow through all of you, and it is. So you can just soak it up. But if you've brought a special need with you tonight or a burden in your heart, we will be holding special intentions after we get through the questions and answers that I hope you come up with, or at least the questions. And we'll dive deeper into much powerful blessings to invoke divine intervention in your situation. And then we'll close with the open eye light meditation at the end. So, we'll wait a few minutes. We certainly were keeping Colombia and the elections there in our prayers. More, our friend in Colombia from Venezuela. And you asked for prayers, and we've held all of that in prayer, and I hope that it's all unfolding in divine order for everyone. Boy, when I look at the realm of elections and politics, it seldom seems like it's in divine order, no matter what happens. So, but the divine is supreme, and ultimately the hand of the divine is strangely at work through it all. And
I've been contemplating a lot lately about how distracted we get, and how easy it is to not pray and to not ask for grace and to not even sometimes believe that there is a divine presence. We're so focused on our phones and where we have to go and when we have to be there and what we're going to do, and I just find it kind of sad. And so the more that we can share the presence, because we do have a spiritual life and a rich, fulfilling, some kind of a spiritual practice. Not saying go out and tell everybody about it. I'm just saying, share the light with as many people as you can. And I gave a couple of dollars, that's all I had, to a homeless person the other day. He wasn't asking for it. He was just crossing the street with his shopping cart, and he looked so surprised when I called him over to hand it out the window. And he just looked at me, and his eyes were just so beautiful and so sincere. And he looked at me and said, "Thank you." "God bless you." And I said, "God bless you too." And we just had this really beautiful, deep exchange for 30 seconds at a stoplight. So encourage everybody in whatever way you can, whatever your capacity is, to share your light, share your kindness, to share your generosity, whether it's with your time, with your energy. We've been helping out some friends going through physical challenges by cooking for them or picking up stuff from the grocery store, and just make a little extra of whatever we're making and bring it to them. So the world really needs that right now, random acts of kindness and connection and sincerity with people, because everything that we hear throughout the day is so jogging and alarming and stunning and distracting from really being in our hearts and reaching out to others that need it.
which made me think of one of the most powerful spiritual practices that you can engage in the middle of a crowd. We started out tonight saying how that if you go deep enough inside, the whole universe is inside of you, and at the center of that is the divine source itself. And everything, the universe itself is the manifestation of the divine source. It's the embodiment. The divine is shining through it all. But a real down-to-earth way to look at it is that person in front of you is a manifestation of the divine, and the divine is inside of them. If it's true that your deepest essence is the divine nature, it's also true that their deepest essence is. So one of the things that Christ said to his followers is he said, as you do to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, whether it's a homeless person or just a mean person, or as you do to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, that's what you're doing to me. And in the end, he talks about a certain day of scrutiny when people's lives would be looked at. And it isn't how you treat the great saint. It isn't how you treat the great guru. It isn't how you treat the powerful, shiny, beautiful people. It's how we treat the least person. It's how we treat the beggar, the prostitute, the drunk, the unlovely people that are hard to want to get close to. And that was, I think, the beauty. Well, there's more than just that, but the soul beauty of Mother Teresa. And her life wasn't easy, but her spiritual ministry was to see the cosmic Christ in everyone and to serve Christ in them. So that dying person by the side of the road that was, the last gasp of life, that was the divine to her. And she would take them home, and she would love. If that person lying by the side of the road was your guru, or your master, or your Lord, or your Christ, how would you treat them?
Right.
Wow. And I think it pretty quickly we can see we don't normally treat the people around us as we would treat the Lord himself or herself. And that is, I think, right up there with the most powerful spiritual practice you could do, is begin to treat everyone as if they were your Lord, as if they were your divine. Now, they don't know it. Don't try. You don't always have to try to tell them that. Sometimes it's a secret,
right.
That they haven't let themselves in on.
Yeah.
But if we begin to treat them that way, it holds the space for them to begin to flower and discover their own true nature.
We have a friend that has a son, he's about 17, who has Down syndrome. And he's been coming here one day a week to use some of our technology. And I've been spending time with his son, and I've had so much fun. It's crazy. One week I was sitting down with him, and he was showing me his tablet, and he was showing his favorite songs, and he really loves Jesus, and he's got all these pictures of him, and then he played this beautiful, beautiful song called Blessings. And after they left, I was so moved by the song that I went upstairs on my computer to look at the video of it, and it brought me to tears. I just started weeping, and I looked at Michael and I said, you just never know when you're going to have an opportunity for something to really move you, It's like,
worth listening to that song.
Yeah, and if I hadn't engaged in him, if I had just gone about my day while he was sitting here waiting for his father, I wouldn't have had that special experience. And then last week, we have a pillow on the love seat that has kind of an arrow pattern down the middle of it, and he took the the mallets for the crystal bowls, and he was flipping them in the air, turning them, trying to get it to land, and then he made a game out of like just something sitting around. And then he started showing off. He'd turn around and he'd flip it over his, backwards, and I was laughing so hard. But yeah, the more that we see the other person for who they are, that they're divine also, the more we are open to richer and deeper experiences, instead of just going about our day, like I said, all distracted and just walking by people without taking the time to just smile or compliment someone.
Who recorded, I always get this little pop-up over your comments. Okay. Who recorded the song Blessings that you mentioned? I don't know, but if you go to YouTube and just run a search on Blessings, that is the name of the song, and it's quite popular. It's basically a musical presentation of what's called the Aaronic blessing, which is actually a Hebrew blessing from the Hebrew scriptures. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord smile upon you and be gracious to you, lift up his loving countenance upon you, and fill you with his peace. But when these people start singing it,
your heart just opens up. It's just crazy.
They're not just singing the words.
Yeah, they're feeling it. They're bringing it. It's making me tear up just thinking about it.
I think it wouldn't matter what your faith tradition is.
No.
They come from a group that it's not my thing, but their music,
their feeling, their sentiment,
their worship is amazing.
Yeah.
So
very amazing.
If you can watch it and not come to tears, I'd be surprised. Tears of joy.
And thank you for asking, because people later might be watching this and be like, oh, I wish I knew how to find that.
YouTube.
Yeah.
That'll work.
So thanks for asking the question.
Well,
I guess we threw out our own questions, answers.
That's what seems to happen.
Yeah.
So if you have anything on your mind that you're puzzling over about your journey, it would really help us all if you threw it out there and just
the other thing that
ask the question.
That on that line of being more aware in the present moment is, as our minds get more quiet and we're living more from our heart, we are open to those opportunities to have these blessings right in front of us that we would have missed because we're distracted and in our minds. And so the more that the heart flowers, the more that we are aware of each moment and what a gift it is and how precious it is. And that really helps to stay centered in these times with everything being so crazy on all fronts. So another reason to keep doing the inner work, because that leads to a quieter mind and a deeper, richer experience of life in the present moment.
What is the inner work?
The inner work, when you have charges come up, feel them, experience them, ask for grace, be aware when you're not being kind or loving, or if you're being judgmental and critical or righteously indignant, which is one of my favorites for spiritual growth. But just becoming more aware of when we're not coming from our hearts, and asking for grace to be able to see that. Because then we can pause and take a moment to deal with whatever feelings we have come up, instead of just reacting to what's going on in the present moment. We're able to step back, take a breath, have awareness, and then respond instead of react. Want to add to that?
I did that just to mess with you. 'Cause, the inner work is huge.
It is huge.
It's very simple too, but the inner work is to realize our true essence and to live from that place. Carl Jung, he described it as facing your shadows. The most difficult part of the spiritual journey probably is the unloading of the unconscious, the stuff that's buried in us that's too dark for us to want to look at, to allow that to come up and face it and accept it and embrace it. And so there's a lot to that. I didn't really expect you to, but it was a good answer. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
I didn't come up with it.
Well, I'm not seeing any other. I'll wait another minute.
It's a new comment down there.
Nope.
Did you read that? Oh yeah. Okay. I can't see without my glasses on.
But I can.
I know you can. All right, let's dive in.
All righty. Give me a second here. I'll wait just a minute. Okay, let's close our eyes and center in our hearts. And invoke the presence. Just welcome the presence that is your very essence at the center of your being. Welcome this being of infinite love, unconditional love. This divine source loves you beyond your wildest imagination. It is love. It is the essence of love, and its love is unconditional. No matter how much we blow it, no matter how much we screw up, it doesn't affect the love of the divine presence a bit. So accept this loving presence who yearns to liberate you from suffering, to awaken you to your true self, your true nature, to draw you into divine union, into the light. All we need to do is open up and consent, allow, receive the grace that's being poured out to us. The divine presence already knows. It's all knowing. Already knows what you're going through. This isn't the time to ask a lot. Just present yourself as you are, knowing you're loved and accepted, and that the divine is infinitely wise, infinitely powerful, and it yearns to give you exactly what you need tonight. So simply open up and trust and drink in the grace that's pouring out to you through the flowering heart blessing. Imagine, if you will, that we're all sitting in a circle together with our eyes closed. Lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward, and simply invite the presence to pour the flowering heart blessing through you to all the other participants, knowing that the divine is pouring the flowering heart blessing through them back to you again. Let us visualize the planet Earth in the center of our circle. The beautiful blue living planet, so troubled by human activity. Let us take a strong intention and ask the Divine Presence to pour peace into the lives and the hearts of all 7.5 billion human beings on planet Earth. relax your hands. Rest them in your lap or on your thighs. And when you're ready, you could open your eyes. As we begin the light meditation, begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just make sure you're looking at one of our eyes all the time. As the meditation begins, the Divine Presence begins to pour oceans of love and light and grace through us to you, especially through our eyes, the doorways of the soul. All you need to do is just keep looking and allow it to happen. And the light will stream out of our eyes, into your eyes, into your heart of hearts, melting blocks, density, impediments to awakening and transformation, and causing the fire of divine light and presence to blaze brightly within you. Just receive. could close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace we have received settles within us. Keep meditating as long as you like. And or you can find a place to lie down nearby in Shavasana. That is to lie on your back with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with your palms open and turned upward. And just let yourself dissolve in gratitude in the presence. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
We look forward to the next time our paths cross. Until then, know the divine within us beholds and acknowledges the divine within you. And we bow to you. Namaste.